Welcome back, my little treasure hunters. Hope everyone's having a great day. We got the Pocket Change Market Report for June 8th, 2022. We are going to embark on a journey where we take a look at some of the most awesomest errors and varieties that people have found by going through change, coin roll hunting. Maybe you like to cherry pick the local coin shop, the watering hole of sorts, or the local show, or maybe cherry picking eBay. There's a lot of ways that you could find a lot of these coins. And we are going to highlight each and every single one of the more relevant ones from the last 24 to 48 hours straight from eBay to your computer screen. Yeah, let's just use computer screen or smartphone screen, whatever. But like always, a few of the same kind of ground rules apply with the PCMRs every week. All the coins are raw. We don't talk about graded coins because that's an extra added big expense to add to the overall, I guess, difference of how much the coin sells for. Sometimes it could cost as much as $65, especially if you're using PCGS to grade your error. And some, people have these ideas of sending off coins that, are worth around 20 to 50 bucks, thinking that it's going to make a huge difference when, most of the time it won't. The cool thing about varieties and errors, like double dies, repunch marks, transitional type of changeovers, things like that, is they all sell for themselves. All right, pretty easy. As long as they're identified and attributed correctly, you can sell these on eBay without grading. Okay, second of all, we're just using the raw images that you find directly from the original listings, which means you're going to find the best and the worst type of photographic images. There are a few of them. They were quite insurmountable this week, but they were good enough to make the sale. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and I'll even give you a few pro tips to enhance your photography skills. All right, so again, last day or two, let's go ahead and jump right in and see what is hot. Starting out with this coin right here, a true testament of look at every coin, doesn't matter how small or how big the actual anomaly is on there. This is a 2007 Lincoln Memorial set. You guys, a couple of you probably see what I'm going to point out here in this one. This is actually a very common occurrence on these. And what we have here is a small little die chip in one of the Lincoln Memorial bays. These have been referred to as beehive die chips, which is a very appropriate name for such because, beehive does stick to the wall or, the ceiling, and they just get bigger. Now, that's a pretty big beehive right there. If you were, standing at the Lincoln Memorial in person, it was that big. But yeah, this is all, as a result of just a little wear and tear on those dies. Little pieces of the die do crack and fall off, creating these die chips, die breaks, die cracks, all of these different types of stresses that are transferred onto the strike of the coin. You're going to see that. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, again, this is a rather minor occurrence. A lot of people will overlook this. This one ended up selling for $5.92 with 2 bids. The pictures certainly helped. Very crisp, very bright, very nice photography. I got really nothing bad to say about this photography. Definitely something to kind of model your way with if you're looking to sell some of yours. All right, so beauty is in the eye of the beholder, obviously, but, it really does make a huge difference, the overall presentation quality of a coin for a specific variety. Now, this coin, as you guys know, is going to be a well-known double die. There's 9 top-notch double dies to look for the 1972 Philadelphia minted Lincoln sets that you need to know about. But overall condition-wise, it's not good. We have a lot of corrosion. We got some staining on here. It's going to be one of those cases like, if you want it and you're kind of like hard up for this example and you're looking for one at an affordable price, this is probably the one for you. But if you're the actual finder of such a coin, this is going to be a little bit of a learned lesson here. Okay, making sure that these don't get tossed back, even though they look like this. They will have some sort of value. Now, this is the doubled die number 7, also referred to as the FS107 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. Yeah, this one has all the problems in the world. The doubling, most notable in the motto, "In God We Trust" on this one. It's some of the strongest. You can even see it a little bit through this crud here on the word God. And then there's a very little doubling on the date. All of the strong doubling is going to be on the motto, a little bit on Liberty as well. Even in this condition, it still did sell for $11.10. You might as well liquidate it, get it out of your hair, and take that money and add it to the pot so that way you can get more stuff. That's how I see these particular pieces. There's always going to be some sort of market for them. So might as well take advantage of that even in this condition. Now this is a rather neat one here. It's a 1950s Lincoln wheat cent. So you're going to notice quite a bit of weakness in the strike, especially there over the date and Lincoln's bust, but also you're going to see that same amount of weakness on the reverse. So it's going to be really easy for a lot of folks to say, yeah, that looks like a struck through grease. However, there is going to be a telltale sign that this is indeed a tapered planchet strike and not a struck through grease. Most notably, check out how strong the strike of the rim is till you get to this point where it's nice and weak. See how much more weaker it is here, and you can see that on both sides of the coin as well. So the planchet in this particular area is a lot thinner, so that's during the rollout process. Before they're eventually punched out. This is a much thinner part of that strip that was punched at the time. So you do have a little bit of a coin here that is a lot thinner in this area. Coin is in really phenomenal shape, by the way. Not the premier grade that, collectors are looking for, but one that still has quite a bit of luster is certainly not a bad thing. This one sold for $7.03 with 3 bids. Tapered planchets aren't traditionally known as being like the most widely coveted of errors. For the Lincoln Cent series, they do pop up on occasion. They just haven't gotten their due compared to a few of the other errors and varieties that sell for more money out there. So we do have a number of pieces of currency this show. So we got 3 of them in a row. We're going to start off here with a 1981 $1 bill. You could see just a gross misalignment of the overprint. So that's the serial numbers, the district seals, along with the 4 corners of those numerals, the 4 fours that you see there. They were shifted southwest on this note, and they overlap a lot of the initial first print on there. Extremely desirable, and believe it or not, this is one of the more common errors to come across. I have even known of a few examples on the brand new 2017 printed notes, not just dollars, but all the other ones as well, with some misaligned prints. So make sure you're looking out for that even in today's printing. This particular note right here did sell for $61.44 with 7 total bids collected for that amount. So that's a pretty nice note. It's got a little circulation wear. You could see that hard fold right down the middle. So it's not a gem by any stretch. Definitely not a gem here. This $5 bill, it's a 1985 series, exhibits a gutter fold. You can see the gutter fold right here. So that's where the sheet actually had a wrinkle in it, and then the sheet with the wrinkle was printed over without the wrinkle being stretched out, which sometimes can be missed. It will leave to this kind of error on here. You can see there's even a little micro small gutter right here at the top margin area. So this particular sheet had a few wrinkles in there. But yeah, not a high grade note. It does have some sort of like soiling on there as well. And this one sold for $40.36 with 7 bids. So definitely a little bit of activity here. So you can see more of the gutters. Again, still showing on the reverse print as well. And then the last piece of paper for this little stretch is going to be this 1977 $20 bill. Keep in mind, the 1977 series is one that's played with a bunch of errors, from mismatched serial numbers to misaligned prints to insufficient inking, which ironically, that's what this one is here. So during the back printing of the note, there wasn't enough ink applied, so it's very spotty and quite light, pretty easy to see. This one right here ended up selling for $70.53 with 5 bids. Again, insufficient inking errors are quite common. They're kind of like the low end of the totem pole in the currency error field. Excuse me. So, definitely something to look out for. But these are mostly being found on the earlier notes, 77, 81s, things like that. So they'll pop up when you least expect it, or maybe you might find one at a coin shop that someone or some dealer is looking to sell on the cheap because they just don't deal in currency. That'd be a pretty good pickup if you find it. All right, back to some ching-ching, kind of change finds here. Well, I don't know if this is a change find per se. 1999 P. Jefferson nickel is a pretty nice struck through capped die strike here. A pretty nice high grade. I would suspect that this was probably found very early on in a mint-sewn bag of 99s, which tends to be one of the ways that you could find some of these errors, especially the more obscene, bigger, kind of dramatic errors like this. Pretty nice coin. It's going to end up going into a date set of this particular type. This would make a pretty nice upgrade because it's just an overall clean specimen. This one sold for $29.50 with 9 bids this time around. Well, just like that, we got more currency. And again, another 77A, $1 bill with, again, another gutter fold error that you see there. This is a much deeper, wider channel, by the way, on this one. And checking out the back there. Somewhere along the line, the sheet was stretched out before the back print was applied. So in this particular case, the note sold for $44.70 with 8 bids. Good looking note here. Again, gutter folds are one of the more common errors to find on paper. All right, so we got 1976. It's a Denver, actually. Kennedy Bicentennial $50. This is a very subtle error, but it does exhibit a clipped planchet. You can see that right here. So this one right here lacks the proto rim, which is what you want to see. But what it does not have, and it's not apparent at all, is that Blakesley effect. Okay, Blakesley effect doesn't 100% disqualify a clipped planchet error as being fake. It doesn't. There are some clipped planchet coins that does not exhibit the Blakesley effect, although it's a great kind of like marker. When you're looking at these, they don't necessarily have to have them. Okay, you just need to know what to look for and how to kind of differentiate a legitimate one from a one that was kind of helped along, so to speak. This one right here sold for $12.44 with 5 bids. Keeping in mind that bicentennial coinage errors of any type, the quarters most specifically are the most popular. Always have a really strong market value. All right, they will sell for a lot of money. Up next, we have a 2006P Colorado Statehood quarter. Now, this is a very common error to find. Okay, make sure you're looking out for these on the Statehood quarter series, not just on Colorado, but West Virginia, also South Dakota, and then there was one other one. I think it was probably Idaho or one of the others. But this one right here has a pretty good sized cut die break that you can see right there on the rim. This is actually a raised feature on the rim. Again, a piece of the die had fallen off, and a cut always includes the rim area, and it goes into the design. All right, so if you have a pretty sizable die break, but it's on the interior devices and not touching the edge, that's just going to be an interior die break or a die chip, kind of like that beehive that we saw earlier. This one right here sold for $10.65 with 3 bids. They are quite common. They don't seem to burst through that $15-$20 range because there's so many of them out there in the marketplace, but they do sell. It's a $10 bill for every one that you do come across, and they all seem to be around this size. I haven't seen like big chunky cut die breaks that kind of would warrant a much bigger prize, I guess. Yeah, again, nothing over $20 for these, but they are worth money. All right, we're back to more currency. Here's a 1977. All right, another 77 here. $20 bill with, again, a shifted left misaligned print, the overprint rather. You can see the serial numbers and seals all to the left here on this one. This is actually a decent looking note with a little bit of condition, just circulation wear, I guess. This one sold for $94.87 with 6 bids. There is a little bit of a reverse image there for you. Again, always something good to look out for, if not in circulation, because these smaller head notes are like disappearing left and right. But if you go to a coin shop or a show and you see things like this, and oftentimes dealers will just want to move them because it's not a core part of their inventory, they'll give it away for a really good price. And then you could add it to your collection or flip it for a decent amount of profit. I kind of like the latter. All right, I'm not in the business of keeping stuff in inventory. They all have to go. All right, quick little update on one of our favorite, very common varieties. This is like a beginner's paradise coin right here. 2000 Lincoln Memorial cent. This is referred to as the wide AM. So it's got the gap, pretty sizable gap between the A and M in America on the reverse. This is, again, if you live on the East Coast and you're going through Lincoln cents, you've probably found your fair share of these. The 98 is another common one. The 99 is out there, but that's a lot more scarce, and that's why a lot of those particular dates, the 99 wide AM, sell for $50 and up, in circulated grades. Quick little photography note about this listing here. There was not one complete full obverse and reverse image of this coin. Again, me personally, that's a big no-no. That's not a full presentation when you're out to sell these things. Make sure you have a full obverse, full reverse, and about 1 or 2 close-ups of the area of importance. In this case, the A and M. Very important. So this coin right here, again, seeing a little bit of condition issues. Sold for $10.99. It was a buy it now listing, I think, for like $10 with a little bit of shipping in there. Pretty cool. I haven't come across one of these, and I hope to in the future. 1920 Buffalo nickel with a pretty big sized cut die break right on the crown or back head area of our Indian friend there on the obverse of the coin. So this big chunk of metal just raised on this area there. Yeah, that's a cut die break. It's also attributed in the Cuts on Coins website, so you can see other images. This is, by the way, a fantastic duo of photos from the seller listing. Fantastic. I like this one. So no big surprise. It did sell for quite the ransom at $243.26 with 31 total bids. This one had a bunch of activity over its auction cycle. Oh boy, another one here. Now, it's kind of hard to point out the actual date. I believe it's a 69C $5 bill. This one right here, insufficient inking is what we've got going on here. The only part that's not insufficient inking is going to be the overprint that you see up there. And yeah, this involves both sides of the bill. This particular note had a ton of activity on eBay. I actually had this on my watch list, and like I said, you don't need to grade these because what's that going to do is it's not going to do a whole lot in terms of the value. These particular errors have a static set amount of value to them. This one here sold for $404.25, which is a huge amount of money, but it's such a very glaring type of error, and you usually see them a lot less dramatic than this one. So that's why this one realized all the money for it. All right, another good one to look out for if you're not looking for this. Again, you're in the hobby for all the wrong reasons. This one should be a top 10 find in your roll hunts. This is a 1995 Lincoln Memorial set. And yes, this is indeed the Doubled Die Obverse #1 or the FS 101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. So there you go. So Liberty, the motto, and God We Trust all feature just this incredible Class 1 doubling that you see here. One of the last of the true breed, before the single squeeze press era took hold. You just don't see too many of these type of double dies ever on the newer coins. So this one right here, embrace it. There's a ton of them that you could still find in circulation. These were minted into oblivion. So still another great find. This one right here sold for $22.50 with 4 bids. Photography lesson number 2. Take your coin out of the 2x2 holder, apply just the right amount of light. So with the 2x2 holder, if you have a light that is shining on it, whether it's directionally direct on it or if it's kind of coming from the side, you will still get the glare. Whereas if you just took a picture of the coin outside of the holder, it's going to suit you a lot better. But what we have here is a 1972D Candy half dollar. Again, an auto add to the list of coins you should find. Seeing as how coin roll hunting half dollars is big game right now, with the possibility of all the silver you could find. Okay, this is as good as silver, if not better. But this is the no FG initial reverse, also known as the FS 901. This is the area in question here where the FG initials for Frank Gasparo would sit. So this is the tail feathers of the eagle, and this is the little left chicken wing right here, or leg rather, chicken leg, that you would pay attention to on these, and they show up on 82s and 72s. This is a 72D. Sold for $24.80, and that seems to be kind of the going rate for the 72Ds because it's a much more scarce one to look for. All right, so you guys saw the thumbnail, and you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, what in the world could be going on with that Sacagawea dollar where it would end up fetching a $100 bill? There you go. A clipped planchet, of all things, on this one. But, put it into perspective like this. How often do you see a clipped planchet golden dollar of any sort, whether it's a Native American dollar or a presidential dollar or one of the American Innovation dollars? You don't. This is a scarcity play here. So this is an obvious no-doubter of an error that on any other denomination of U.S. coinage would pretty much mean that coin's value would be around $5 to $10. But when you find one on a coin that just doesn't show up this type of error, that changes the game quite extensively. This one sold for $104.99. Again, always look for the minor stuff. This could be construed as a minor error, especially even on this coin. And based off of the condition of the coin and just the amount of circulation wear, everybody in the world ignored this coin. All right, it was used to buy that can of Coke from the vending machine, and it was done 1,000 times more. So always look out for these. Kind of hard to believe that this one fetches $100. We'll see if that sticks. But yeah, this is a recent sale within the last day or two, and I'm not surprised, not at all. All right, so this one's kind of a circulated beater, but it's a 1984P Jefferson nickel with a cut die break right there on the obverse. You can see it right at the base of the bust here, covering up the Felix Schlag's initials. Always a common spot for this. This one sold for $20.98. Again, $20 bill for this this thing that has been through you know what and back. Always worth it. And another coin, not pretty at all. This one is quite messed up, lots of scratches and nicks, and it even looks like it's been cleaned. I'll be honest with you. But it's a 1995 Philadelphia minted Washington quarter with, again, a very nice sizable curved clip on there. This one does have Blakesley effect, much like the Sacagawea dollar we just looked at. That had a pretty noticeable Blakesley effect as well. This one sold for $9.06. If you could get that kind of money, I would sell it, you know, because otherwise this coin would just be like dead weight in your collection. Why not flip it and earn yourself a few dollars for a much better purchase later on? Always a good one to look out for. People are still finding these even a year after release. The 2021P Washington crossing the Delaware crown die chip should always be on your list of finds for today. The coin looks to be in really good shape, and this is more of the middle progression of this die chip. Still right good size and still a perennial all-star on eBay. This one sold for $66 with 16 bids. All right, still a solid sale for these. Oh boy, and speaking of minor, a lot of people would be tossing this back or spending it on their next cup of joe. We have a 2003 D Illinois State Quarter. Call it slightly off-center, or perhaps it's a uncentered broad strike, but boy, the coin is circulated. Yeah, a tough date to find these type of errors, as minor as they may be. This one sold for $25. Yeah, if you got it, sell it. And, you know, just the market's just too good to hold on to some of these minor things, you know. And with the amount of dedicated collector base of Statehood quarter errors, this one more than likely is going into, you know, like a date set or a state set or something like that. Take advantage of it. All right, coins and cards, back with another Gemmy. This one's interesting, though. It's an 1876 Indian head set. Usually we see a lot of Indian head sets coming out of this particular seller's store, but yeah, this one has a little bit of post-mid damage, but for maybe a good reason. It's got a little triangular counterstamp right over the letter S in the word States, and that's what it is. There's no other variety, no double die, no repunch date, nothing like that to speak of. It's just this little thing here. If you look at that same spot, there's that right there. You flip it over, it's damage. You can see the push through and the flattening of this area, which indicates that. So I know counter stamps, if they're contemporary of that period, you know, can mean a few things. It could mean a business name, it could be a love token, things like that. So I don't know what exactly this one is kind of like aiming towards as far as like the subject, but it does and appear to be a contemporary style of counter stamp, which means something, you know, to people that collect these. This one sold for $246.50 with 20 bids. Sure, you're either gonna love it, or you're because you see the history and the possibilities of something like this, or you're just gonna hate it because it's damaged. So, what's not damaged is this 1946S Lincoln Wheat cent with a pretty insurmountable sized strike through on the reverse there. So it's covering up a lot of 1 and cent. Probably a big goop of grease with, you know, just various debris items in there, you know, little metal shavings and dirt and all that great stuff. So when it struck through that ball of grease, it's going to show up as this here. And this one sold for $34 with 4 bids. All right. I'm willing to bet quite a few of you have overlooked stuff like this back in your early days. I know I have. I'll just be honest. I found stuff like this and thought, man, it's just a minor lamination or strike through. No one's going to pay the amount of money for it. So, again, something to keep in mind that there is some sort of desirability for these out there. You might as well sell these in quantity because the prices have fallen fast. And what are we talking about here? We got, count them, 11 of the Maya Angelou brand new 2022 quarters with the edge of mouth or the drool die chip. You can see that in this one right here, right on the edge of his mouth. These used to be a $20, $30 bill at release, and they have fallen so as fast as being about $5 to $10 today. That sometimes it's just not worth selling them as a singular coin. So if you got a lot of them, and apparently they're really easy to find, go ahead and sell them as a batch lot, and at least make more money doing it this way. It's going to be easier for you to package as well. Sold for $35.50 with 30 bids, so you're going to be looking at about $3 and some change per coin. You could sell them individually, make $5, $6, $7, but it's going to be a lot more work, and you're not guaranteed the sale of all 11 at the same time. All right, whereas selling it as a lot, you do sell it as one bunch. So there you go. A lot of them out there, by the way, so you're not really losing much by selling these in bulk. That was pretty cool, and I'm glad this one popped up on the list today. A coin not without its issues. It's got a few scratches on the obverse. It's got some sort of dig right here over the Y in Liberty, but it's a 1921S Buffalo nickel, two-feather variety. Always a good one to look out for. There's a number of dates within the series that exhibit the abraded die two feathers. So that third feather completely missing here in this case, and it's easy to see, with the naked eye, these two feather buffalo types. These are all in the Cherry Picker's Guide, in case you're wondering. This one sold for $195, so that's part of the scarcity of this date as well. It's not quite a common date for sure. All right, how about 1980p Jefferson nickel? It's about 60% struck off center. This might be something you'd come across at a coin shop for cheap. I think I bought a few back in my day for around $5 because the dealer does not deal with these. They were either like a PM dealer, or they dealt in just graded coins or high-end type pieces. But errors again is a niche market. All right, this is a very nice looking coin as well. Sold for $59.99. Oh boy, here we go. The biggest struck through of the last 2-3 years, and it's on the American Samoa double back quarter, 2020 Philadelphia only. You can see the strike through right there on the main bat figure's face, completely missing. It's not the biggest type of strike through for this particular date, but it's significant enough that you do lose a lot of the a lot of the face there. So in much higher grades, we've seen this sell in excess of $1,000, especially for the bigger strike through. This one right here sold for a C note, $100, and I think that's pretty fair. Again, pretty well circulated coin here. All right, this one also sold for $100 also, but there's going to be people who say you can't find these in circulation. Look at this coin. This has circulated. I'm just going to go and say that, and then you can reserve your right to say whatever you want, even though it's probably going to be wrong. 1990 Lincoln Memorial Cent double struck. The secondary strike is roughly about 75% off center. Just a cool coin, especially when you have two readable dates. That's, I think, where this one really cooks. Yeah, $100 here. Here's a 1970D Roosevelt dime. Again, with issues. Look at all the scratches on here. But this one is a partial blockage. You can see there. So it's got the indent. So the other coin that overlapped it during the strike had a full strike on there. Because you could see that image reversed on this coin. A beautiful example in spite of the scratches. Always want to know that, these will sell. Any brockages of any type are quite popular. This one sold for $116.56 with 27 bids. Nice. And I'm not gonna, I don't need to tell you, but if you're the type that likes to hoard 90% silver scrap crap, always look out for some of the big varieties, especially on the earlier Washington quarters. You're going to be surprised at what you do find. So this is a 1934. It's a well-known doubled die. It's in the Cherry Picker's Guide. Without even really getting too close, to check that out. The motto, "In God We Trust," is nasty. Along with the date, you can see just the bottom of the double three bottom loop there is really cool. But always want to look out for another good one's the 43S. There's a 43 as well, Philadelphia. This one sold for $78.50. So you can literally take that $5 silver melt value quarter and turn it into nearly $80. I mean, again, it's a great time to be in this hobby. You could do stuff like that. 1911S Lincoln Wheat Cent. Not a great looking coin, but it is a little bit scarcer of a date. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a strike through there on the obverse. So you can see that little spike right there. Could be a piece of wood that had fallen onto the die, or perhaps a lamination peel or detachment from another coin. There's a few possibilities, but this is cool. Very subtle and very throwawayable if you're not careful. Sold for $32.50. So again, this is probably like a $3 to $5 coin all on its own as a semi-key date. But with that error on there, yeah, it's a little bit better than that. So here's the fully formed crown die chip. This example right here is very nice. Oh, by the way, guys, I have one of these for sale on my eBay as well. So if you guys are looking for one of these much more advanced stage crown die chips, I do have one, and it's well within the market. I think I have it for $129.99. This particular example here that you see in front of you sold for $125. So yeah, it's right within range. If you guys are looking for one, yeah, I'm doing a little self-promotion on this coin, and I'll even sign the 2x2 holder for you if you want, if you buy that one. But yeah, another good one to look out for. Make sure you're looking out for these. They're still coming up in really phenomenal shape. The coin's barely a year old, so there's a lot to love here with this find. And then finally, how about a huge update on the 2021 Lincoln Shield Cent retained cud die break that you see here, the coin of 2021 and beyond. Yeah, have you guys seen? These are drying up. There's probably one or two listings currently, and yeah, this one right here, the best of all of them, whatever's left, sold. Originally, the seller was asking $995 for this thing. Well, I'm happy to say that there was a little bit of negotiation here with this one, and the seller ended up settling. And I'm not even going to say settling, because these coins have dropped down to like $300 at one point. This one right here, ladies and gentlemen, sold for $657.50. Great photography, by the way. I think this photography really did this coin justice, and well done to the seller. Yeah, if you guys are not finding these, or you're not at least buying one, at a reasonable cost, you might be missing out, because this is a huge coin here. Well, wow. That's going to go ahead and do it for this one, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Was that inspirational enough for you to go out there and do a little hunting of your own? We'd love to hear about it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video and channel if you haven't done so already. Would love the extra support. Whatever you could throw my way would be outstanding. And then furthermore, I do have a TikTok channel, account, or whatever you call it. I do have a TikTok. It's BlueRidgeSilverhound. Go ahead and check me out. I'm on there as well. I'm starting to do more videos, more shorts on there, and they're quick bursts of information. You guys will love it. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Best of luck in all of your hunts. I'll see you in a few days for another PCMR and more other videos. You guys take care, and I wish you guys the best of luck. See ya.